So there is Kevin McCarthy, the minority leader in the House, wants to be Speaker at the White House last night in his tuxedo, going to a state dinner. You know who was at that state dinner as well? Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden. I don't think he should be there. That's me. You know, when Pelosi, Democrats wouldn't go to state dinners. They wouldn't. When Pelosi showed up at the White House, what did she do? She told off Trump and then left. They behaved miserably. I don't think Kevin McCarthy should be there. And maybe he shouldn't even be the next speaker. That's how our next guest feels. Congressman Bob Good, a Republican from Virginia, member of the House Freedom Caucus. And I believe, sir, you are officially opposed to Mr. McCarthy becoming Speaker of the House. First of all, welcome and nice to see you. Thank you.
Great to be with you, Greg. Thanks for having me tonight.
You bet. So make the case. Why not McCarthy for Speaker?
Well, tell me what he's done as minority leader in the last 2 years since I've been in my first term, or the whole 4 years that he's been minority leader, that would indicate that he's going to be the fighter that we need to block the Biden-Schumer agenda when we have the majority in the House. You know, we got rolled in the minority party. He did not do anything to put pressure on the Senate during these last 2 years, where we could have withheld all Republican votes for any of the bad bills the Democrats were pushing. He didn't fight with us. He didn't show leadership. He's not a strong leader. He's not trusted by many in the conference because he has a credibility problem. And if we do what we've always done, Greg, we'll get what we've always got. And the country's at a crisis point. We've got to have tough, strong, conservative leadership, and we don't have that with Kevin McCarthy.
So he's a career politician. He's been in politics since the age of 20. And you have a 20-year career in finance, which I like. Yeah, we have his resume here. You're joined by, let's put up the list of those from the Freedom Caucus who have, I guess, formally said they're not going to vote for him for Speaker. Let's see, you, Ralph Norman, Andy Biggs, Matt Gaetz, Matt Rosendale, Dan Bishop, Chip Roy, and you, Bob Good. So how is this going to play out? I mean, I heard Mark Levin, by the way, who's very strong conservative. We like Mark Levin a lot. He kind of yelled at you guys for entertaining anybody other than McCarthy. Do you think this is going to work out?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to block him. There's a number of members who become public, as you know. I happen to know more members told him today in personal meetings they weren't going to vote for him. They told him to his face they're not going to. You're going to see the public numbers grow in the coming days. Our numbers are increasing. I will point out, Greg, that there was 36 who voted against him on November 15th. None of them have come forward and say they're going to vote for him on January 3rd. We're having quiet conversations with candidates that we know represent the conservative center of the conference who can get to 218 and fight and lead us in the new Congress in the majority position. And what Kevin McCarthy needs to do is face reality, recognize he's not going to get to 218. He's not going to move us to vote for him. And he needs to withdraw so we can publicly consider candidates who have, they've pledged their support to him publicly because they presumed he was going to be Speaker, and they fear retaliation as long as he might have the possibility of doing so. So for the good of the country, for the good of the Congress, and for the good of the Republican Party, Kevin McCarthy needs to withdraw so we can publicly consider other quality candidates.
Would you consider somebody outside the House of Representatives? My understanding is the rules are such that you could pick somebody who's not a member of Congress as the House Speaker. First of all, check me on that. Is that true? And if so, is it under consideration?
That's correct. The Constitution doesn't require that the Speaker is an actual member of Congress. It's never happened before that they weren't. And I think that's kind of a long shot situation. I think there's quality candidates within the body who can lead us, who would be popular with the base, who represent the conservative center of the Republican Congress, and those who elected us to make the real change that's needed. You know, Greg, Congress has a 20% approval rating. 80% of Americans think we're on the wrong track as a country. We can't do what we've always done. That's what we would get under Kevin McCarthy. I've had hundreds of my constituents tell me over the last 2 years not to support Kevin McCarthy. So really, that's what all Republicans are hearing. And so we're really doing the will of our constituents, those who sent us to office, when we bring new, fresh leadership that will bring the true fight that's needed to stop the Biden-Schumer agenda in the new Congress.
Matt Gaetz is on your side. I want to hear from him, if you don't mind. This is Congressman Matt Gaetz.
I think we can do better. Right now we need new leadership. We need to turn the page. I think that we need someone who has broad credibility with conservatives and centrists and moderates throughout the conference. And I think what you just saw is that Kevin doesn't have that.
Ooh, Kevin doesn't have that. And by the way, can I get your thoughts on Kevin McCarthy at the White House last night? Now, I can understand you're supposed to break bread with those you're opposed to, socialize with. I think we have a picture of him at the White House and some video as well. He went to a state dinner for Emmanuel Macron. I think he's really eager to take advantage of the perks that come with being speaker. And this is one of them. But what do you make of his attendance at that thing? And is it unfair for us to give him a hard time about it? I personally don't think he should have been there.
Well, I can just tell you, I've been invited to the White House a number of times as a member of Congress. I have no interest going under this administration. This is an administration that could not do more to ruin the country if they were trying to do it on purpose. And they've spent a record $10 trillion in new spending, never happened before in the first 2 years of administration. They've helped purposefully a 5 million illegal aliens invading our southern border. They're weakening our military. They're surrendering American energy independence. I have no interest in going to the Biden White House. I look forward to going in 2 more years when we have a new president.
You know, it is a checks and balances system, and it's a little bit adversarial. It's supposed to be. And I think he's compromised. That compromises him. Yeah, checks and balances. And the socializing is totally unnecessary and possibly harmful. All right, we'll stay tuned. We'll see what happens. Congressman Bob Good, Republican of Virginia. We appreciate it, sir. Many, many thanks.
Thank you, Greg.